Joe, good morning.
Good morning. This is
It's great.
exciting. We lost in 1994 to Arkansas in the Final Four. I would have loved to have had this chance that UConn has today.
Oh, it would have been great to have you here on the floor, but I know that you can't be here in person, but you're joining us all the way from San Francisco, California. I know it's early there, so thank you so much. Let's start by telling our viewers exactly how you represent athletes and how you work with them.
So I come in from the financial advisory standpoint and get them to help them understand what money means to them, how it flows in and out of their life, how to set a budget, how to get money working for you. I never really thought this would have been a big business, but now as you see these contracts even earlier and earlier, not just in the NBA or the NFL, but now in college, if not earlier, these are decisions these young people have to start considering at a much younger age.
And how are we? I'm sorry about that. I think there's a little bit of a delay here. So continue what you were saying. Sorry about that, Joe.
No, you look at some of these young men that are on the stage and some of the women that performed this year. Some of these financial decisions they have to start making at a much earlier age now.
And speaking of financial decisions, how would you say that coaches and schools are going about recruiting in today's landscape?
Everything's changed for better or for worse. A lot of players were thinking through what's the best opportunity to be at a school, but also now this money component is probably trumping everything else. It's less about the long-term opportunities you may have with a university and that program and that network, and more about what's the maximum payout I could have at as fast as possible.
And speaking of maximum payout, are you seeing these student athletes when they're choosing a school to go to? Is the financial obligations, one of their major deciding factors from where you sit?
Well, if we look at the extremes, it is. And that could be a good thing, that could be a bad thing. We'll see in the long term. I think it's important for these young student athletes, no matter how big the money is, to really consider the long term effects to the decisions you make. But right now, for sure, a lot of the top high end players are making decisions purely for money.
And what would you say are some, I don't know, just key pieces of advice that you would give to athletes in this industry when it comes to making money and financial decisions?
I know it may be hard to understand early on at a young age, but I would say don't make decisions purely for money. Think through the professional locker room that you want to create outside of the basketball court or outside of the football field or the soccer field. Think through the other types of people you want to surround yourself with in terms of being professional. And at the end of the day, focus on what your passion is. If it's playing basketball, if it's playing football, focus on that excellence and the money will chase you. Don't just focus on the money.
A lot of key takeaways there. Thank you so much, Joe, for joining me.
Thank you. Have a great morning.